I think the first point is to say that I never for 1 second did I ever think that I would suffer from mental health. I thought I was invincible. I'm 6'4", 16.5 stone, keep myself very, very fit, ex-forces, in the police for lots and lots of years, and I thought that I was invincible. And then suddenly you realise, very sadly you realise that you're not. And you know, my own experience is that feeling of responsibility. I mean, many people will know about the tragic murders of Nicola and Fiona, and I was their divisional commander, so I was the chief superintendent at that time, and people expect you to be, you're on the bridge, you're actually leading the charge, and that's absolutely right. But I think that period of time, it wasn't just the murders themselves, it was then having to, the funerals had to be organised, 2 funerals, one after the other, was really, really difficult. But it just hit me one day when I literally could not get out of bed. I just could not get out of bed. And I remember thinking, the police always say that they've got a plan. And I in particular, I'm the one who's always got the plan. You know, if nobody else comes up with it, guarantee, good old Nick, he'll come up with a plan. And then suddenly, no plan. And it wasn't until I sought professional help that I actually realised that those feelings were actually quite normal, and that I was suffering from not only mental exhaustion, but mental health issues where I couldn't see light at the end of the tunnel, where you think that there is no hope. And actually, what is the purpose? You know, what is your purpose? What is your purpose as a person? What is your purpose as a commander or a leader? And in this case, within the police. And so seeking that help really was the best thing that I could have done, because there's no question, and it's fairly well documented, that the only option I had at that time was to tender my resignation, because I just felt worthless, had nothing to offer, nothing to add, and that I'd failed the public and failed the service and all of those things. And it may sound crazy now. I remember somebody actually saying to me, you've got to separate, you know, the emotional from the rational. Well, that's easier said than done when you're living it. And I was living it every day for months and months and months and months. The best way to describe it, I would say, is that there was just this constant fog in your head. There was a knot in your stomach. Every single day, every waking hour, there was a knot in my stomach. From the moment I opened my eyes in the morning to the moment that I shut them again in the evening, there was just that constant knot. And I thought at any time I was going to be sick. And the fact that you want to feel better, you tell yourself to feel better, you tell yourself that you do have a purpose. You know, I'm the father of 2 children. You think, I've got everything to live for. No matter how many times you tell yourself that, you just can't believe it. And that trying to convince yourself that you believe it is so difficult. And that's how it meant. I felt sick, I felt drained all the time. There was a constant fog. And it was just difficult to put one foot in front of the other. And as I say, I mean, it took everything I got. I couldn't get out of bed for over a week. And it took everything that I had to get out of bed and just try. I didn't recognise it myself. I didn't recognise that point. It was actually a colleague, a senior colleague of mine, who I went and sat with, and they said, you need help. And the fact that I was able to speak with him, to tell him how I was feeling, allowed him then to say, you need professional help. And yeah, okay, you know, as I say, all the embarrassment around that, and you think, crikey, you know, I should be able to sort this out after everything that you've seen and experienced in your life. You should be able to sort this out yourself. It's not possible when it gets to that stage. You do need a professional intervention. And so I did. I went and saw a professional. And the incident was the incident, but it was trying to make sense of life again and trying to make sense of what your purpose of being here was actually all about, and the fact that people do need you, love you, care for you, want you. I would never have reached that point on my own had I not sought that professional advice. But again, that was through talking, and that's what I'm encouraging other people to do. Share it with a trusted colleague, share it with a friend, share it with somebody that you know is going to listen, not judge. The last thing that anybody wants to hear when you're in that situation is you need to get a grip. I think about it every day. I think about Nicola and Fiona every single day. I mean, I knew them very well. You know, Tameside was a small division, and they are never out of my thoughts. The difference is having the coping mechanisms now to be able to deal with that. But I am better at coping with it than I ever was.